Hello, how you doing? Welcome back to some more F1 23 and part 2 of our Immersive Driver Career Mode with Alfa Romeo. We are back today with the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Before we get into things, I just want to say a massive thank you for all of the support on part 1. If you can keep those likes coming, that would be amazing. If we could hit 50 on part 2, that would keep the momentum going from part 1. I really do appreciate it. I know there's a lot of content out there. Thanks for sticking with us. We're going to take a nice casual run through this career. We're going to try our very best to improve on last episode. Qualifying pace was good, just in the race we went backwards. Let's hopefully maintain position today. That would be very, very good. But we have a department event here at the powertrain department, so let's have a little look at this. So department events ask you to make difficult decisions and cover a range of topics such as marketing, driver, media, development and more. How you choose to respond has a direct effect on many things, such as your acclaim. They may even trigger an on-track rivalry. Okay. Charity has asked us if you would be happy to patronise their cause by becoming the face of their latest campaign. Unfortunately, this would mean you missing the powertrain department's team building event we had planned. It's important for us to be seen as supporting. Yeah, I think that is important. So let's go for that one.
The department's appreciated.
Okay, right, let's have a little look around. So Alessandro Aloni Bravi has said indications from testing suggest we have decent pace, but I expect us to be somewhere around the middle of the field. Over the course of this season, I want us to be the best of the rest and even start to challenge the front runners. Okay. Let's see how we're getting on in terms of R&D. We do have a minor aerodynamic pack in progress, but you can see how close that midfield is, all the way down from Williams to Alpha Tauri, and then a little bit further, well, really it's Alpine all the way down, isn't it? If you look, you know, McLaren and Williams very close to each other. Then ourselves and Haas almost identical, and then AlphaTauri just a little bit behind, although Yuki Tsunoda had a very good Grand Prix last time out. In terms of engines, we're looking fine. Yeah, nothing else of note there particularly, but yeah, let's get pushed forward and see what happens. We should hopefully be able to get our secondary wing flaps sorted out. Oh, here we go. The charity gave you some much needed exposure and the team understood why it was so important to go. So we have got some extra driver acclaim, which is great. Let's have a little look at this. We do have some rewards ready to claim apparently from the podium pass. Let's have a little look so we can claim that. I don't know what all of these are particularly. Setup data. Alright. I have no idea what any of these are for. Tyre wear data. A customization item. Okay. We do seem to have a fair few things. Okay. So this is how you unlock the different podium emotes, and we can see the sort of locked items are the better items, of course. But we might as well unlock them anyway. Why not? Okay, perfect. Right, nothing else there. We do have unread mail apparently. All of this is particularly reputation reward. Okay, looks like there's a load of stuff to claim from this. Driver stats, yeah, let's upgrade that. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, I've no idea really why all of this is here, but I'll see you guys in a second. Okay, with all of that out of the way, let's push on. We have got our secondary wing flaps, which is good.
We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
Yeah, we're not going to bother doing any of the Pirelli hot laps. I really cannot be bothered with them this year. We do have 3 more upgrades in the pipeline, a chassis, a durability and aerodynamic upgrade, but we are falling behind some of the other runners. It is going to be tough for us to progress. We know that, but we do have resource points in the bank, so fingers crossed we can have a good race weekend. Let's head to Jeddah and see what we can do. Of course, we've got qualifying sessions.
Practice sessions are vital for the continuing development of the car, but if you need to, you can use the quick practice to direct the session instead. It won't be as effective as having you behind the wheel yourself, but it's better than missing the session entirely.
Right, let's head to the session. This is the last time I'll do this, just in case Natalie Pinkham was to give us a little preview. Not this time. Right, I'll see you guys for qualifying then, here in Saudi Arabia. Welcome along then to Saudi Arabian Grand Prix qualifying here in Jeddah. Really enjoyed driving the track so far. We did have our first crash though in practice. Lost it going into one of the high-speed corners, straight into the wall. Obviously no flashbacks, so we had to retire the car. But pace looks decent. We're actually just going to stick with the generic setup that the team have put on the car. We're not going to change anything about it this weekend. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, let's get ourselves straight into the action of qualifying, and let's take you around a lap here of Jeddah. Expectations are pretty high. I think we need to make sure that we are on it and make sure that we're maximising the potential from the car, because the car's slow, and you know, Valtteri has shown that as well. You know, he qualified, went out in Q1 I think, didn't he, last time? So, but yeah, setting up our lap onto the pit straight, of course, the Verstappen wall, as I like to call it, at the final corner. Need to get your braking right into turn 1 as we just overcook it a little bit, but this section here, there's lots of time that can be made up, there's lots of time that can be lost, but this is going to be our sort of banker lap, if you like, so we're not going to absolutely go for it at this juncture, but yeah, you got to be careful, and we sort of lost it through there, meaning that we didn't get our best possible exit through there, although it is a purple time through sector 1 for now, so it shows how good the rest of our sector 1 was. And now coming through this high speed sector 2, these curbs are beautiful in this year's game because they don't rumble. So we go a little bit wide and try and get it back on the curbs there, risking going beyond the white line, but we're okay. Just absolutely flying through this section. Yeah, a little dab of the brakes and straight back on the throttle as close as you dare to the walls, and now it's just lining it up, getting ready for that final corner towards Verstappen wall. And here we come around the final corner then, and it's going to be up to the finish line. What's it going to be? That's a question. Anywhere in the 29s would be great, and it's a 29.7, which puts us third for the moment, just behind George Russell and Charles Leclerc, but ahead of Gasly, Norris and the likes. But you can see how much time is potentially on the table. I'll sort of show you through here if you can hold it flat how much time we could make up, but there you go, that's what you risk there, is going wide and losing your lap entirely. Okay, let's head back to the garage and see how that time will compare once all is said and done. There's probably a bit of underbody damage. No, I'm quite surprised about that. Okay, let's zoom it forward. So in the top 8 at the moment, and a decent bit ahead actually of the Alpines, and yeah, Valtteri Bottas again looks like he's going to be out in Q1, but I mean, you look at that, and we're 0.6 off the fastest time, and yeah, just don't quite get that. But zooming it all the way to the end, let's have a little look. And where did we finish in the end? We finished 10th, but Valtteri Bottas did get through, and only 0.6 behind us there. Still a massive amount of time, but George Russell quickest in the end. Lando Norris managing to wrap up into the top 10, but going out in Q1 then, Lance Stroll, Yuki Tsunoda, Kevin Magnussen, Nick De Vries and Logan Sargent. Well, here we come up to the line for our first lap in Q2. It's not been great. We struggled in the very first sector. And so 129.9, a couple of tenths slower than what we managed in Q1. Which, considering, is probably not too bad. And we can have a little look at how we could improve in this first sector. We just went a little wide here and then didn't manage to bring it back.
One lap of fuel left now. The tank's pretty much empty.
A lack of momentum, but there you go. You can see how much time that there is on the table. Wow, nearly went into the wall there. 0.6 of a second is available on the track, but we don't have a lot of fuel left. So let's head back to the garage and wait for the final moments to do our next push lap.
Left in the session.
Come on then, let's go on a lap of Saudi Arabia once again. Let's see if we can get ourselves through to Q3. We just crossed the line with about 15 seconds to go. We've got a brand new, fresh set of boots on, and we are ready to rock and roll. It's a decent first couple of corners, about half a tenth up on our previous time, and now we've just got to sort of play it safe through here. We know there's 0.6 of a second on the table, but we won't need quite that much to get ourselves through. But we find 0.8. My goodness me, that was a good first sector there. And as it stands, 0.4 of a second up on Oscar Piastri. I know Valtteri Bottas is in the top 10 as well. He'll be getting through, so this feels like a good opportunity for us, despite how slow our car is. And well, you can see we had to drop out of it a little bit, and now we're losing little bits of time, but still 0.7 up at the moment, which is half a second up on who we need to be, which is Oscar Piastri. Now there's a couple of cars in front. We could use them as a little bit of a toll over the finish line. Here we go, past Verstappen wall. We don't do what Verstappen did. We try and get every ounce of a toll that we can, and we're through to the top 10 shootout once again, over the line in 5th place. Wow, that toll at the end really did help us out there. And, well, we're through to Q3. Very, very good stuff there. And Valtteri Bottas is through as well. We are, of course, slightly quicker than him. And, well, as it stands, we're kind of in the battle for pole position. I don't really know where this form has come from. But going out in Q2, Oscar Piastri, Nico Hülkenberg, Lando Norris, Gasly and Alex Albon. Here we come then up towards Verstappen corner for our first lap in Q3. It's a pretty good one, to be honest with you. Pretty clean. I'm going to come up to the line. It's going to be in the 28s. It's a 28.8, which is enough for P5. Unbelievable how much quicker we've got throughout this qualifying session. I don't think we can do much better, but we have out-qualified Max Verstappen, which is quite bizarre, really, isn't it? But I don't think there's much on the table, I'll put it that way. Here we go then, ready for our final lap in qualifying. Let's see where we can put this Alfa Romeo car. It's a good start to the lap. We know that we can go a little bit more for broke in this lap than we'd maybe normally be used to, but lost about a tenth in that first corner, just couldn't get on the power. Yeah, look at that. We're just nowhere near the same pace. 4/10 of a second off. And, well, this does happen from time to time. I think we've peaked. And where's everybody else gonna
30 seconds
hold out? I
left
think
in the
it's the
session.
track temperature's dropping. People are finding time. Yeah, no way that we're going to improve
Pit in
here.
this lap then.
And you
Come
can
into the
see
pits at the end of this lap.
down to 8th now. So what started out as a great opportunity has now turned into 8th and 10th. But we will definitely take that. We are the second worst team on the grid at the moment. And although our last lap was nowhere near what we'd normally expect, we will certainly take that and be very, very happy with that result.
Perez, Russell and Max Verstappen. With qualifying complete, all that remains now is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
So there you go then, Sergio Perez on pole position ahead of George Russell and Max Verstappen. Bottas didn't have any new tyres, I don't think, going into the final session, which probably explains his, mediocre lap in Q3. But it's going to be an exciting time for the race. Let's hand over to David Croft, who'll take us through the opening of the 2023 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
We've got fast sweeping corners under the lights and 20 racers all ready to write their name into the quickly growing history of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So let's take a look at the topographical map of the Jeddah Street Circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Sergio Perez will lead us away from pole position. And starting next to them is George Russell. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Leclerc, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, the captain, Ocon, Bottas, Oscar Piastri, Hülkenberg, Verstappen, Gasly, Albon, Stroll, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Norris, De Vries and Logan Sargent. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. And what would any Grand Prix weekend be without the one and only Anthony Davidson alongside me, as always, to talk you through the action. Can we start by having a chat about Sergio Perez?
Well, it was a really impressive lap in qualifying to get pole position, but are they going to be able to hold on to the lead into the first corner with so many quick starters around them? I'm also looking forward to seeing the different strategies in play today. Those who are starting on the red mark soft tyre are going to have a little bit more grip early on, but they have to make it count before that degradation starts to set in.
Okay, here we are then, down on the track. There are a couple of different strategies here. Experience from F1 Manager tells me we should not be one stop in this race, or two stop in this race, sorry. No matter how good an idea that might seem. Just having a look at what we could produce, but no, I think mediums and then hards is going to be the strategy here. which is a shame, you know. Not much variation in what we did last time out, but fingers crossed we can come out on top here and get some points. Verstappen, obviously, with a penalty there as well. And he'll be coming through the field, no doubt, after his victory in the first Grand Prix.
Everything looks good on the power unit cycles, so let's concentrate on bringing tyres and brakes up to temperature.
Wow, that was a lock up there into turn one, and I tell you what, this track is looking very green. Look how shiny it is. And well, obviously under the lights we're going to be heading into darkness throughout this Grand Prix, and it is very important that we get off to a good start here. And we got off to a fabulous start in Bahrain from the lights, and I'm hoping for something very, very similar again. I'm just trying to get these tyres nice and warm. Get them sorted up to race temperature. And interestingly, Fernando Alonso on the red mark soft tyres. Quite a few of the cars around us on mediums. But I, for one, would definitely love to have the full classification down the left-hand side. That is something that I think this game needs. But they never seem to put it in there, which is a real shame in my opinion. And here we are, we're getting up to our grid position. A good grid position last time.
Conditions look stable at the moment, no rain currently expected.
I'm gonna aim our car to the right. That's pretty good. And try and go around the outside of Lewis Hamilton into turn one. Lights out, away we go here for the second race of the season. And look at that, that's a very slow start from George Russell. As we head into turn one, we're trying to take an evasive line, but George Russell, who of course started in second position, what a poor start for him. It's like he went into anti-stall off the line, and well, that was a huge mistake for him, and that's going to cost him dearly because he's going to be caught behind ourselves and Fernando Alonso. And once again, just like lap one in Bahrain, we lose one of our two warnings for track extending within the first lap, and that just makes life a little bit trickier. But Fernando Alonso having a look around the outside, and well, we've got our elbows out a little bit there. But couldn't not make contact, and I just hope we haven't ruined Fernando Alonso's race. But once again, we just feel a little bit slow in race spec, and I mean, we were very, very quick in a straight line in practice and qualifying, one of the best in the speed trap, and already under a lot of pressure from George Russell and Fernando Alonso. But we come up to the end of the first lap and we are in 5th place. We've made up 2 positions on the first lap, and mainly thanks to George Russell. But yeah, I mean, we had a completely different start to what we planned. Obviously, I said right before the lights went out, I want to go round the outside of Lewis Hamilton into turn one, but just the way it transpired, we ended up going right down the middle of the grid, and George Russell's slow start in Mercedes was definitely something that helped us out as we went through the gears, and yeah, I mean, we will be very, very thankful for that. And well, starting to pull away from George Russell a little bit here. I don't think it'll last, if I'm honest. Obviously DRS is going to be enabled at the end of this lap, but I think at the first sector we can just about pull enough from the rest of the guys that we might be able to hold them off in this Grand Prix. So fingers crossed we can do that, but a good start overall. 5th place, 10 points if we can hold on to this. That would be massive. Well, here comes Max Verstappen already past us.
Okay, we've lost a position. That's us down
I mean,
a place.
can you believe that? Max Verstappen, he was started in P12, he's already into P5. And that's how good him and that Red Bull are. Well, there goes George Russell. And, yeah, well, I mean, the Mercedes car is definitely faster than ours at this stage of the season. That's not a battle that we're going to win, to be honest. We have got DRS to try and pull away from Ocon and Fernando behind. It'd be rather nice if we could do that, as well, George Russell very much locked up there. Need to take slight evasive action. And there goes Fernando Alonso on his soft tyres. Finally managing to make it through, and not that surprising really. But we have got a decent gap to Bottas, who is behind Ocon. Well, caught a little bit of the curb there, and that's really thrown us off. That was a really unlucky mistake. Just caught a little bit of the curb, and yeah, we're kind of on rails off the circuit because the underbody got caught on it. A little bit fortunate to not have any damage to the underbody, but I do feel like we can compete with Ocon and Alonso today. So I'm hoping the fact that we're now sort of in a DRS train will help us out a little bit with our pace, as we're 6 laps into this Grand Prix, a third of the way.
The driving.
Now we've got Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon battling it out up ahead. We're looking to take advantage of any little mistakes from either of them, but nothing as yet. I'm going to come into the pits this lap. These two are battling it out. Let's see if we can get a bit of an undercut. Well, Fernando Alonso is also coming into the pits this lap. Okay. So we're in.
Okay, let's go
We're
now.
away.
Come on. Perfect job from you
Held
and
up a
the crew
little
there,
bit
mate.
by
We're delighted with
Albon.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
So yeah, that was a important little pit stop there, and now hopefully push on with the rest of the race and undercut Ocon and stay with Fernando. And here we come past the pit lane then. Who are we going to overtake? Don't think Ocon has been in. Here we go then, the rest of the guys, Ocon and Valtteri
So
in the pit
gap to
lane.
car ahead, 11.4
And
seconds.
I think we are well ahead of Esteban Ocon. In fact, Albon and Gasly have undercut him as well. To the point where Albon's a bit of a threat to us now. Well, here comes Pierre Gasly, rides round the outside of us as we have just had a message to say Fernando Alonso's car is slowing down. He's got a mechanical problem, so it's something we have to try and take advantage of as well.
4.1 seconds.
Well, and a little look at Pierre Gasly, and we are through. And hopefully we can catch and pass Fernando Alonso. Well, look at this. We have caught up to Fernando Alonso. We are right behind him now. I think it'll be wise to try and wait for the DRS, but you can see he is clearly struggling out there. If we can give ourselves a good run here, should be doable. Oh, well, he pushed us right up against the wall there, but we are through.
Nice overtake. Okay, gap ahead is
a little bit of contact there.
Seconds.
Wow. Well,
okay, the incident's been cleared.
I feel like that was 100% Alonso's fault there. You know, we had DRS, we were making our way through. He was definitely slower than us. But it is what it is. So we stay in 8th place, managed to stay out of the wall. And Esteban Ocon couldn't make his way, or didn't crash into us, or Pierre Gasly, sorry. And now we got to try and use Fernando Alonso to our advantage and pull away from him. Oh no!
That looked bad. Are you alright? Let me know you're okay.
Well, that is a horrific incident. And just a slight lapse in concentration. And it's all over. Look at this. We were... Oh, and honestly, we were just pushing to try and catch back up to Gasly. Ocon was right in our slipstream, and we just turn in. Look at this. We just turn in. A little bit too quick. And a weekend of hard work is over in an instant, and we are out of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. That is devastating, because we'd had an awesome race up to that point. Well, that is gutting. That is absolutely gutting. We would have definitely finished in the points there, and well, we gotta hope that that doesn't
from Red Bull today. What a superb victory.
Come back to bite us.
Tell me, Ant, how do they manage to achieve this win?
Well, when you overtake that many people, I'd certainly hope you'd win the race. Their car was really effective in the slipstream here today, and the team would be pleased that they didn't cook the engine, given how long they were spending in the hot air behind other cars. They had a lot of confidence to push their tyres hard as well, especially going into the corners, which allowed for some late braking and some exciting passes.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be so proud of the victory they've secured here.
Well, Max Verstappen wins from 12th on the grid. That is ominous. Ominous stuff. Well, Yes, Bottas
let's
in the
see what
points,
effect this
11th.
result has had on the drivers'
Got in.
standings. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice.
Let's move on to the constructors. And pulling further ahead in the standings, it's Red Bull. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend for them as they fight their way towards the top. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
Well, devastated. That's all I can say. I mean, that is what can happen in the Immersive Driver Career Mode, though. No flashbacks, no nothing. That was a mistake that we made. We were pushing hard, trying to get back up behind Pierre Gasly. Perhaps a bit of greediness coming in there because we would have got points. You know, we would have finished ahead of Fernando Alonso come the end of the race. Yeah, that could have been our big opportunity to get points, and I don't know when we're going to get that opportunity again, but let's advance on. There's nothing we can do about it now. We've just got to push on now, and well, there you go. We lose a little bit of driver acclaim for that. You know, people would have been saying, "Wow, this guy's a great talent. He's quick in qualifying. He's had an excellent race today. Got himself some points."
ERS
but
failure must have been infuriating.
yeah.
We should focus on upgrades to our powertrain. That should help reduce the likelihood of faults like these cropping up again in the future.
But yeah, and we failed an upgrade as well. So yeah, not fantastic, but really enjoyed driving around Saudi Arabia. That was probably the best I've ever felt around there. We've got the Australian Grand Prix coming up tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be able to pull some points out of the fire and get back into this season, because that, oh my god, that is a very, very frustrating moment in this career mode. But we will live, we will learn, and we will push on and try and improve and learn from that next time out in Australia. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I really did, until that one turn, one mistake, but that's all it takes on a street circuit, doesn't it? If you enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up down below, subscribe for daily Formula One content, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.